This is Webb.
Conspiracy theories are entering a dangerous...
Information is the oxygen of the democracy.
There's so much evidence out there that even if less than 1% is true, that would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.
This is a product that is in its early development stages, and it's going to be given out for free. So this is not a paid advertisement. This is my own buddies making cool shit for us because I needed it. And then I realized that we all need it, and we're just going to give it out because we need everyone to be able to have access to these files. And I cannot tell you how many people I have had text me being like, hey, dude, how are you getting into these files? Because I can't, I don't have time to open 20,000 files and read them for myself. Like, what the hell? It's like they're intentionally putting them out in the most idiotic and opaque way possible, specifically so that we cannot access them. Because the way that they're getting put out is as a Google Drive download, and it doesn't even come this organized. It actually comes in a Google Drive download that's so big that it gets packaged into multiple zip downloads that actually overlap in weird ways, and it gets downloaded all broken up. And then you actually have to rearrange the files to even get them in order in the first place as files. And then when you go into the files, it's literally just thousands of JPEGs with no context, no labeling, nothing at all. A bunch of them are the exact same thing, and it's just a whole bunch of files. And when you open them up, this is just like a page of a book. Ravages of Denial, Chapter 3. It has nothing to do with the emails. It's just someone linked it in an email, and now in here, there's like literally thousands of pages of a book that you don't even need. And you wouldn't even realize that. And you would just spend a bunch of time reading thousands of pages of this book for no freaking reason. Okay? No one has time for this. These aren't emails. Where are the emails? These aren't emails. Where the hell are the emails? But don't worry. Dumb Broad on Twitter read it all multiple times, okay? It's also got, court documents that we've already seen. Confidential. Oh, that was helpful. So glad they put that in there. A redacted version of the black books and contact books that we've already got. Man, isn't that helpful? So as you can see, this is insane. And that's only, the first two folders. There's a bunch of them. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's literally like 23,000 files, okay? So that's not very helpful. So how do we access them? Well, Webb is how we access them. And there's this fun string game where you connect the dots and the string, and you get all Pepe Silva, and you can just play with it forever. And oh gosh, it's fun. But we'll leave that. We'll leave that where it is for now. And it's just a little landing page that you can go check out for yourself, the web.io. It's not live yet. It's not ready yet. We literally just finished the first version that I can play with today, and I'll show you what that looks like. But the goal is here, and we're going to work towards that goal, and it will be out for free that you guys can download and use. It is an AI-based tool that you will have to plug in your own API from right now, Google Gemini, and there's a couple other options. We'll explain that later. You have to plug in your own API tool so that you can use it. And if you have, your own misgivings about using AI, I get it. Might not be the exact tool for you, but part of the point is that you're not uploading your files, you're not uploading your documents and interacting with them online on a web tool. You're actually downloading this to your computer, and you can just use this tool as a self-contained tool on your computer that doesn't require you. So if you have some secret cache of documents, your documents aren't getting uploaded to Google, for example. Obviously, AIs do have some privacy concerns, and you should think for yourself on that. But ultimately, these are public document dumps. And so this is a public tool for you to use however you want. And if you want to use it, you can use it. And you can look through this really sick-ass website that my homie put together for it if you want. And when it goes live, we'll let you know. But let me just show you a little bit about how it works. Where are you, Webb? Where are you? Okay. Here's Webb. So the thing about AI is that you can't trust it. Okay. I'm moving it over a little bit so that you guys can see this part. You can't trust AI. You need to be able to get to the sources. So it's not just that we need to have a tool that can analyze all these documents and tell you what's in them. It's that you need to have a tool that can analyze all these documents and you can talk to about it and learn what's in them. But then it needs to cite sources that you can click and open, okay? And so For example, earlier I asked it, who is Ariane de Rothschild? Point blank. I have all of the image files uploaded into here, and I just ask it, who's Ariane de Rothschild? And it builds a little dossier, okay? She's a person. She's very important. There's a whole bunch of context in these documents. She gets mentioned this many times, which is kind of an at least in case it missed anyone. And it tells you what she's talking about with Epstein, and it cites sources. And then you can go and click on that source, and it will open what it is. And this is in the emails, and it's from a magazine article it would look like. And there's another source. Oh, and that's one of the emails right there, right? Wasn't there a science person that worked with Consuelo that you thought interesting? Okay. Ooh, the Vanity Fair piece. I know what that's referring to. And it has turned all of this imagery into text that is now searchable, that I can search in here, but you can also use Webb to search. And it has cited tons of sources, and you can talk to it. You can ask, let's ask it a question. Let's ask, what businesses was Ehud Barak interested in? And we'll see if it works. Sick. Okay. Dude, we were so stoked when we got this to finally start spitting out answers today. I cannot even describe. What businesses were Ehud Barak in? Okay, here's what I can tell you about Ehud Barak's business interests based on the provided documents. He's a person, he's a politician, he's a military leader. He's mentioned at least 299 times. He's a prominent figure in Israeli politics, serving as prime minister, source for that. Defense minister, source. Foreign minister, source. The sources aren't perfect yet. I'm not sure how much I would like. This might not be exactly what I'm hoping it is. Actually, it is kind of. It's a piece from a big old document that's actually talking about the history of Israeli politics. Interesting. And Perez, it's probably from a book. I don't know why it's in the files, but it's in the files. Cool. His military experience shaped his approach to politics and policy. Source, relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Barak had communication with Jeffrey Epstein. Source. Cool. Sick, right? Like, you get the idea, right? It's going to be freaking cool, especially once we fine tune it. But why stop there when you could build a canvas just like an Obsidian file, but you could use that analytical process to dump this analysis from the Jeffrey Epstein file leaks that were inaccessible 10 minutes ago. And then you can now make boards that right now it's not perfect. We can't draw lines yet. There's a lot of functions we still have to get right here. But now I can ask questions. Who is Ariane de Rothschild? It can answer and cite sources and pop out sources right here and stuff like that. You can drop screenshots in, and you can literally just screenshot off the internet. You find a good article about what you're researching, drop it in here. Actually, let me do that right now. Let me grab this is one of the sources about the sketchy French painting company, and I just grab a little screenshot and I drop it onto the canvas right there, and I'll drag it up. And then when I do that, yeah, that's what it's called. It's called OCRing. OCRing is how you get AI to analyze the image for text, okay? And you just click the OCR button, and it takes a second. And then it's processed and it's saved into the memory of your project. So now when you ask it questions, it can also refer to everything that you just put into your Blackboard in the project. Do you see where this goes? Do you see what this could be and do, dog? Yeah, exactly. There's so much you can do with this. And then you can link things together. You can ask it more questions. You can chat about this specific source, right? So I don't know if this feature actually is working yet. I don't think it is. There's this cool stats feature my homie built in where you can ask it about statistics from within the files, and it'll pop out all these cool freaking numbers and stats, but it's not really exactly keyed in yet, but you see where it's going, right? So we're going to game on this for a while and get it really tight in the next week or so. We're getting really distracted by it because it's so much fun, but I just wanted to show it to you. Some of the fun stuff we found on Webb today. So what I spent my whole morning doing is on Webb. I've been thinking about how there's whole sections of the Epstein files that are like a whole book or a giant news article, or someone shared a pre-publication of something, and it's there's 700 screenshots in a row that's just some giant codice on mathematics or some shit that we don't need to know about. and it gets in the way, and it confuses the AI scraping, and it makes it so that it'll like source stuff from this book that is not actually the Epstein files, which is super annoying. And so I just thought I'd ask it. Hey, Webb, are there any books or long articles in these documents? Meaning, can you identify large blocks of files that all seem to go together? How many are there? Give me one sentence summary of each and identify which files are included in each one. So sort of like give me the group so that I can go into my own files and pull them out and find them and either throw them away or not. And I probably won't throw many away because, you don't want to destroy your evidence. I could always re-download it, but, But let me pull up my file over here. I found one that's super interesting that I actually sent around to a few homies today. And we'll do this while Claude works. Claude's over here working. And the other screen. Ooh, Claude's done. Cool. We'll come back to Claude in just a second. But yeah, Michael Wolff is this journalist that's like best friends with Epstein. And he seems to be writing fluff pieces about Epstein throughout. And he's in really close contact with Epstein. And he seems like an asshole. He is of the tribe. And I can't help but notice that seems pretty coincidental when you read the way he writes about his boy Epstein. And you read what he was up to behind the scenes, scheming about Trump with Epstein, trying to do mean things. And then one of the first big documents I pulled out of here that seems to be all one thing is an unpublished, never before published manuscript for a profile on Jeffrey Epstein that he was working on, like a long news article about Jeffrey Epstein. And I found a few of the pages and I grabbed some of the text and I was just like, hey, Claude, can you decipher what this is based on the context within it really quick? Claude comes back and is like, it seems to be this some sort of unpublished article. I'm like, cool. And I like went manually through the files and found where it seemed like it started and where it seemed like it ended, copied them all out, threw them all in. It was like, yeah, this is an unpublished manuscript by Tom Wolfe. That makes sense. As far as we can tell, that's what it is. Allegedly. It's pretty clear though, because it's this whole story of like him visiting with him in all these meetings. There's all sorts of stuff in it that's never before been revealed, and it's all right there. It's just right there. It is documents number 022844, right there, through, just in order, 845, 846, 847, etc., over to document number 022862. And it's super interesting how he fluffs up Epstein. And you kind of, it really gets you in the head of these like esteemed professional scientific types of folks, mathematicians and stuff, that were enamored by Epstein's lifestyle and by like his mind and how he thought and how he lived, because Michael Wolff clearly enamors him in the same way. And so it gets you inside the head of these people and how they think. And if you just read the words at face value, it's like, oh, I get it. This isn't even a problem. He's just misunderstood. He's actually really cool, which is obviously retarded. But it helps you understand them and, know thy enemy, right? It helps you understand how all these billionaires and millionaires excuse what's clearly happening in front of their eyes, excuse their own terrible actions as part of some greater identity that is just superior to yours. They just understand the world more than you, and they're serious people and you're not, right? It's how they think. And the whole article is a really interesting look into that. And so I've got it all put together into one Word document that I'm going to print out. And I haven't actually read the whole thing yet. I've just read some summaries of it and kind of popped into specific places because I don't want to read a 19-page document on a screen. I already do a lot of reading on screens. I didn't have time for that today. So I'm going to print it out and read it on paper, get out the highlighter, old school style. Bitcoin and Epstein, I was actually looking into Epstein's relationship with Bitcoin today. And bro was talking to Steve Bannon about it. Let's go look. Where did I put it? I think I put it by Bannon. I gave Bannon a whole new section for it. So, Steve Bannon, face to the name. Shame. Shame on you, Steve. Shame. He had a lot of emails with Epstein, a very close relationship, and this is in his last years. This is in like 2017 and 18, even 19. So, in House Oversight document 026258, first message on the page, Jeffrey is emailing Steve Bannon on February 24th of 2018. And he says, coin issues, receive coins, distribute coins, pay in coins, coin cooperative, prohibitions, foreign donor, ? I need to understand the flow of funds. Donor to campaign contributions. Does it have to go to campaign first? Does it have to go there at all? Etc. And this is in response to Steve Bannon sending him a Politico article about Susan Rice, lawyer, Obama administration, classified intelligence, Michael Flynn, Trump. So it seems like Bannon had emailed him an article, but they had been in the middle of another conversation, or they had then talked in person and their brains had gone off in a different direction here. This is at 8:13 minus 500. I'm not really sure what these. It's hard to link up the timelines because I don't know where Epstein is at the time. I think minus 0500 means it's relativity to Zulu time, like we were talking about. But Steve Bannon is just displayed as 7:48 p.m. or a.m. So I don't know what that means as far as timing goes. But they're chatting, and they chat a lot. And Epstein's emailing Steve about all these ideas about coins. And I'm pretty sure there's another screenshot that'll show us. No, that's as far down as it goes. And then Bannon sends back on it. I guess we can infer based upon the timing here. February 24th. It's all happening on February 24th. Sorry, I'm off the screen. So at 7:48 Bannon time is this message. And then at 8:14, same day, Bannon time, so just less than like a half an hour later, Steve Bannon's already replying to this message. So this is a quick exchange. On it. That's all he says. He's on it. These are the questions that Epstein has about crypto coins. Steve Bannon says on it. Jeffrey comes back to him. Same day. Do you have coin guys? Brock's people? Brock Pierce. Hey, we're finally going to get to talk about Brock Pierce. Or should we find some of the lefty crypto guys, might find it difficult to join, but they say bringing tech to discourse is on a higher plane. Bannon writes back, I think I have the most solid guy on the right, tied into the Swiss guys, named Jeffrey Wernick. Going through due diligence now. I've known him a while as I've studied this. He can walk you through the deal. So Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein are discussing a crypto-based deal in 2018, probably for millions and millions and millions of dollars of value. Who knows what they needed their crypto value for, what they needed crypto coins for, but that is not a good look, Steve. Based upon the questions that Jeffrey's asking, coin issues, receive coins, distribute coins, pay in coins, coin cooperative, prohibitions, foreign donor, ? Donating as a foreigner. I need to understand flow of funds, donor to campaign contributions. Does it have to go to campaign first? So he seems to be asking about some sort of donor advised fund, maybe, which we know he was interested in. But maybe he's also interested in other use cases of crypto. I'm sure none of it is good. But that's interesting. Why are you talking about that, Steve? What are you doing? But then here's another thread of a different thread of emails that sprung off the same email. So he must have replied multiple times to the same email, right? Because here Jeffrey emails Bannon with that same list of fucking, nonsense that he has. Bannon says on it. And then Jeffrey emails him back with a different email off the same one. He says, should it have a Christian component? Tithe? If you form a church, you may be able to tell Mueller you have a confession privilege. Smiley face. Oh, it's so funny. Funny jokes. Funny jokes about scamming the church with your crypto coins, Jeffrey Epstein. Gosh, you're so funny.
That would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.